So I was scrolling through Instagram today and saw something that I never thought I would see, which was Coach Greg collabing with none other than Mike Thurston in Dubai. Now, I don't really think there's any beef between them, but Greg has said that Mike's a fake natty in the past, and Mike's acknowledged the accusations and claims to be natural. But when I saw it, I was thinking, did Greg just inadvertently prove that Mike is natural? So let me know down in the comments, first off, are you team Mike's natty or Mike's not natty? I mean, after all, Greg backs Hussein Farhat, I think is his name, and that dude looks pretty jacked. If that guy can compete with the fullness that he has and be natural, then why not Mike Thurston, you know? Because he did compete back in the day, and after all, when it comes to social media, the guys who are the top 1% or less are the ones that are gonna rise to the top. So is it really unrealistic to think that he is natural? Let's take a look. The caption did say that they filmed a podcast and some workout videos, so it will be interesting to see if Greg does bring up the fake natty accusations that they've talked about in the past and where it goes with that. So I'm looking forward to see that. But looking at these pictures, they look pretty similar in size. Now, when it comes to social media, everyone is pumping up before they take pictures, making sure they get the lighting just right. I mean, you know, I got my bicep vein shown here, got the light in just the right place, and making themselves look huge. And that's easy to do, especially when you're by yourself. But when you start getting next to other people who are bigger than you, things change a bit. So looking at these pictures, I thought Mike was a lot taller. But if you look at the pictures like this one here, Greg's standing a little bit further forward than Mike, and Mike's also leaning back some. So, you know, maybe they did some of these on purpose to make it look like they're the same height. In this picture here, you can tell a little bit more that Mike is taller, plus Greg is standing like a whole one board further back. So, you know, he's closer to the camera, he's gonna appear larger. They both have similar sized backs, at least from this camera angle. And when this picture first popped up, I saw, you know, son do with the shirt off and red shorts, doing curls. I was like, oh, that's not Mike Thurston, because Mike's standing there in the background. I was like, oh, that's Greg. They're working out together, huh? And they look very similar. Like, here's Greg sitting there doing curls. He's got the massive chest like Mike. And then here's Mike sitting there doing curls, and it looks just the same. And look at Greg standing there looking at him. His chest looks pretty massive, just like Mike's. So all this time, Greg's talking about Mike's massive chest, and he's very similar. But then when we get this video, you can see them standing in different places, and Mike is obviously taller than Greg, kind of looking down on him some. They do look pretty similar in size, but then when it comes to leanness, so look at Mike, we see all the shoulder striations, the abs sticking out obviously, arms are shredded, same thing, we got shoulder striations, got the abs. They look almost identical sitting there doing curls. Their backs look like legit the same leanness. Greg's hamstrings look a lot leaner, but then again, Mike doesn't really look like he's flexing his hamstrings at all. He's just got his leg back. A lot of people do that. They stick their leg back and don't actually flex their hamstrings. I think Mike's would probably show a lot more if he actually flexed them right. From the front, same thing, both shredded six pack. Greg's obviously slightly, you know, a couple percent leaner than Mike. Again here, Greg's got his leg out flexing it. Mike, he just has his leg out, he's not actually flexing it. A lot of guys do this, they only flex all their upper body, bicep, back, abs, chest, kind of let their legs relax, which is the funny thing. I was watching Pumping Iron and Arnold was doing the same thing. He was doing a back double bicep and his legs were just completely relaxed. So Greg stays really lean, and we know that testosterone helps with that because, you know, if I was to get super lean, then my natural testosterone level is gonna go down. But if you're pinning testosterone, it's gonna stay within a certain range and stay more normal even though you're really lean. So that's why having testosterone helps you to stay lean. So that could be something that Mike's doing. He's obviously not as lean as Greg, but he is quite lean, and the dude's pretty big. But also he stayed the same size for what, like the last 5 years or so? So it's not like he's trying to get bigger, he's literally just maintaining his look and staying lean, which is a lot easier than being super lean and trying to build size, which you would probably need a little bit of help with. And then it comes to testosterone levels with age. So we see how Greg looks here. You know, he was like, what, 20 pounds heavier when he was actually on steroid cycles. And yes, he's on TRT now, but he's shown his blood work, and it's to put him within the normal range, which is literally like right in the middle of what normal is, pretty much around the same as mine is naturally. So he's lost a lot of muscle, and now he's holding what he naturally could because his testosterone levels are in a normal range, even though he's injecting testosterone. Whereas Mike, the dude's, I think, like in his early 30s, So it's pretty reasonable to think that his testosterone level is probably pretty high, probably higher than average with the physique that he has. So it would be reasonable to think, Mike's probably like at that or higher, and that's what Greg's at naturally. So they have very similar looking amount of muscle, even though he's taller, but size-wise, they look very similar standing next to each other. So isn't it reasonable to think that he could achieve that look naturally, especially when he's been lifting for like 15 plus years? I mean, certain people are gifted, they can do a lot with what they have, and now he's pretty much maintaining that and just staying lean and enjoying life. So it doesn't take a whole lot to keep up the size once you get there, like a third of the volume, and then it's literally just your diet to make yourself look lean. And that's where most people struggle, because if you get lean enough, people are gonna start thinking you're not natural, because no one normally looks like that. Most people are overweight. So perhaps Mikey is natural after all. Granted, there's a lot of people on PEDs who don't even look like they work out, so all we can really do is speculate. But I will be really interested to see when this podcast comes out and the videos, see what kind of stuff they talk about, and if any of that comes up. But hit that like button if you thought this video was interesting. Comment down below again with what you think about the whole natty or not scenarios, and subscribe if you're new for a lot of diet hacks, training tips, live training Q&As I do, funny shorts, and more. And hopefully, I'll see you soon.